Good morning, good afternoon. Well, good morning from Siberia. Um, so I'm just gonna be talking about things that I've. When you wake up, when you're American and you move out of the United States and you see news, it's almost like well, in the first year when you see news, it's unbelievable, right? Because I'm a proud American, not because of my government, but I'm a proud American because my mom is an immigrant in the United States and she made her American dream come true. And I believe in freedom of speech. I believe in all those things that people in America, the normal people, believe in. And when I say normal, I'm talking about people that don't shoot other people for having different opinions. That's the topic of today. So when I wake up and you see these weird headlines, it's unbelievable. Um, there's not even just one thing that happened today. There's also some sort of things that happen in a school, things that commonly happen in the United States. There was another one at a school. Um, it just doesn't make any sense to me. Um, it doesn't make sense to me why people would think that it's okay to unalive someone for having a different opinion. And this is what's wrong with the United States. The problem with the United States is that both sides are radicalized and the pendulum swings so drastically. It swings incredibly hard to each side all the time, and you're going to continue to see these type of things. It's disgusting. I haven't lived in the United States for over 4 years, and every year that passes, things get absolutely more horrible. Every year has been significantly worse. When I left the United States, I think it was 2022, and the United States was almost something that I knew, something that was like the United States. If any of you guys know history, you guys will know that. Well, I'm gonna give you a quick history lesson. From what I understand, let's see. I think the Pax Romana was the 200s AD, if I'm not mistaken. It was yes, a period of 200 years. Oh, sorry, from 27 BC to 180 after death. So these were 200 years essentially, and people who lived in the Pax Romana were thinking it's the best of times, right? After this, you got a year where they had five emperors, and it was Rome was fucking collapsing right in front of people's eyes. Nobody understood what even was Rome anymore. So the United States is in that phase where nobody even remembers what a good time in the United States was. That's how bad it is. Nobody remembers when things were good in the United States. We have three generations of human beings in the United States living in a time where they can't remember when things were good. So I wake up this morning, and again, Kirk is one part of the news. There was also another school disaster with weapons, I think in Colorado. And every year that I've lived after I left the United States, it's been worse and worse and worse. And I don't make this as propaganda for Russia. Russia's not perfect either, but the reality is that if you're going to be pointing fingers at other countries, you should probably figure out your problems first. And this channel was created for me. Uh, yeah, it's already September 11th for us here in Russia, where I live. By the way, September 11th, this happened in September 11th in my time. So in my head, it's like, what the heck is going on? But yes, this is September 10, and September 10 is going to be a day of mourning as well now, because in September 10, there was the school massacre, another one, and you see this man who gets murdered for having an opinion. It is unbelievable, man. It is unbelievable. Nobody can remember in the United States a time when the United States was normal anymore. Yeah, so these school things, let's see, in my opinion, from the late 80s to the 90s, this is when they just started skyrocketing. It all started, I mean, it all got fame under Columbine. That really made the shooting stuff. So it says, when the hell, what year was Columbine? I think it was 99? No, maybe. Yeah, 1999. So it's absolutely unbelievable. The late 80s and the late 90s, it just really took off. But Columbine cemented, like people emulated what happened in Columbine because it reached, like, America was blasting that on the news. So Charlie Kirk is just an American with a point of view. He used to go to American campuses, university campuses, and have his view countered by other people. He's I would say he's a right activist. Even some people would consider him far right. But like I've said, extremism exists on both sides. What happened today? There's my. What happened today is not only was Kirk murdered in Utah, but also there was a shooting in Colorado. Now, this is absolutely horrible news, but the worst thing about this, like I said, is there's been at least 3 generations in the United States that have grown up without knowing what it feels like to live in a safe country. There's 3 generations of Americans that have they don't remember. It never happened in their timeline where America was not a disaster. America is so far gone that even if people from today start writing history books, they would only write horrible things because it is so far gone in the past when America was not a disaster. And I'm saying this all the way from Russia. I'm a United States Marine Corps veteran, a war veteran from California. I left the United States in 2022. I didn't leave for political reasons. I didn't leave because I was scared. But now that I've been gone out of the United States for almost 4 years, it feels like it really feels like getting out of a ship that was sinking. Well, it already had water in the hole. Like, that's how ridiculous it is. And I'm so sad about the things that I'm saying don't make me happy at all. The things that I'm saying actually make me feel ashamed because I'm an American. And people can say this, oh, like Liz M. Brad can say America's not rotten, it's some people. No, you have to understand, uh collectively, we're a collective people. You can say that America is not rotten because only some are bad, but when you have people, kids being shot at school constantly, when you have people being murdered for having an opinion, this is a problem. Now, the people in masses in the United States are so radicalized that also is a sign of rottenness. When you have two sides, especially when you have two sides, if there were more groups, this would make sense. But because we have two sides that are so radicalized, that are always fighting each other, this is absolute brain rot. You can disagree with me if you want, but I am telling you, and it's not only President Trump, it's been happening way before. We already know that the two-party system is a way to keep people fighting each other, and people just fall for it over and over again. It is absolutely terrifying to know that people are being unalived for saying anything that other people disagree with. And Привет, добро пожаловать, друзья. Welcome. Dobre утро from Irkutsk Oblast. I'm really sad to announce that the United States is so far gone. Like I said, nobody who's alive in the United States right now can remember a time when America was not rotting from the inside out. This live stream is apparently without substance or observable purpose. Yeah, it's just my opinion. It's just my opinion. I'm doing what now in the United States sometimes people get murdered for. I'm just saying what I think. And it's people probably like you who don't like this type of stuff. Now, I am shook. I am shook because I think I think that this is going to make things even worse. I mean, we already know it's going to make things worse, but we know that when one thing happens, the pendulum swings towards the other side. And what people don't understand that they're part of the problems. They're part of the problems. I am stuck in the USA, but in the 1970s we were good. No, you weren't good in the 1970s. If you remember, there was problems in Vietnam. There was hippies all over the place. People were marching still. People were protesting still. The 1970s were not good at all, man. My mom was born in the 1960s. She remembers the 1970s. They were very turbulent. There's never a time when people can just chill the fuck out and understand that if we are fighting each other, if we don't just calm the hell down, it's gonna end up in disaster. So the 1970s were definitely not good. I understand it was less chaotic, but the reality is nobody alive right now in the United States can write down on a piece of paper a time that the country felt safe and there was no war and turbulence. There was no hate amongst people. Hell, 1970s was right after the end of segregation, right? So definitely there was still states in the United States that were super Jim Crow lost out. So no, there was oil crisis. There are so many things going on. And I honestly think that no one who's watching now has lived in the United States in a peaceful and memorable time where things were good. I mean, things don't have to be perfect, but holy shit, the school shootings, the murders for speaking out for what you think, they're happening nonstop in the United States. It's out of control. It's out of control. We're like a third world country at this point. Hey, Red Star guy, thank you so much, man. It's really tragic, you know. And my family's doing good. Thank you so much. I'm really grateful for to see you again. Hello and welcome to everybody. My name is Daniel. I am an American who's living in Russia, and I woke up to horrible news. As many of you guys know, there was a murder, and in the United States, I think I mean, I don't even know what to say about it. It's just it's pissing me off. It's really pissing me off. The Clinton years were very peaceful. I mean, I remember the Clinton years. I don't know. I'm you. I appreciate you looking for things that were peaceful and quit the cap. I don't know what quit the cap. Anyways, I respect your opinion, but I don't know what I don't know what you mean. Quit the cap of what? Um, I respect people's opinion, right? But I remember think how the way I remember them, Bill Clinton, I think was 1990 to 19 let me see, 1990, early 1990s, 1990, I don't remember actually now. Let's see, Clinton must have been early 90s, maybe even 1990. Yeah, 92 to 2000 to 2000. All right. So, I think uh I'm going to be going back to what I said. I think that the 90s were not peaceful at all, and there was so many things that were happening in the 90s. Were there less was there less chaos? Yes. I'm going to admit, and I'm going to agree with you, the 90s, the early 90s were less chaotic. uh and then we get to 99, and then it goes downhill from there. But from what I remember, the mid 90s were probably much better. But that's just agreeing with you that they were much better than they are now. What I am saying is that nobody in the United States can say that times were actually good. So post World War II in the United States was probably the last generation, but those people are disappearing now. And we also know about that yeah, the 90s had gang violence. We know about that Ukrainian woman who got unalived in Charlotte, North Carolina. So we have these things back to back to back to back. These type of things where that woman got unalived because she was white, and then that's just how it happens. And you know what? It doesn't matter that she was Ukrainian, okay? The problem was that the man saw white skin and she was attacked. There's a lot of racism in the United States. And then a few days later, you have this happening. And this is just probably the worst of all, because it's the climax to a horrible few days. It kind of just climaxed. And a lot of people say, "Oh, good thing you left the United States." Man, I didn't leave the United States because of this type of stuff, but I am sure glad that I'm not there right now, because my son is going to be born next month. I have a child on the way. My mind is blown at the amount of violence in American society. My mind is blown. I can't imagine having my son anywhere near schools right now, anywhere near California right now. I really believe that these people on both sides, because it takes two to tango, guys, both sides are so extreme at this point. It's gonna go on back and forth until America's done. It's gonna go on and on. There's no coming back from this. So please, guys, let me know where you're watching from. This is an unexpected live. I wanted to do it because I felt like my heart is broken for the United States. My heart is broken for the country that I was born in. Please tell me where you're watching from. I would like to know. I'm in Tennessee. Roses in Lakeland, Florida. Shout out to Florida. Shout out to Tennessee too. Great states. Hello from Brooklyn, Canada, Arkansas, Montana, of course. South Boston, Maryland. From Listvianka. Listvianka is so close. Hello, guys. Hey, Vaughn, welcome, my friend. Chicago. Man, you guys are watching from all over the world, but I honestly feel no matter where you guys are watching from, that please pray for the United States. Even no matter where you're from, the people don't deserve this. These are millions of people who are being absolutely brainwashed to hate each other. America tries to destabilize the world. You know, this is not a my opinion. This is a fact. We destabilize the world, and the karma hits America so bad that the most turbulence is actually inside of the United States. Our people are so divided that this is absolutely going to spiral down until the end of our country. Maybe I won't be alive to see it happen, but that's the only way, that's the only outcome from all of this. Privyet. Czech Republic, they try to insist same division here. Yeah, you guys have to absolutely stand up, and all you have to do is think a little bit. You just need to use a little bit of common sense. Bien dicho, soy un cubano americano y creo que tienes razón que esto es una locura. Saludos desde Texas. Shout out to my Cuban Texan friend. No, I don't have a pension from the United States. I never had it. It's crazy, man. And the closer you are to the United States, the more in danger that you are. And I fought in the Afghanistan war. All right. And I'm going to tell you guys something that I don't usually speak on, but I'm going to tell you something because this has to do with what's happening in the United States. When I fought in the Afghanistan war, you know how long it takes you to get the fucking Afghanistan from the United States? And when you're in trenches in a faraway country, you have a lot of time to think. And I'm combat decorated. I've been there, I've done that. But let me tell you something. You do have a lot of time to think. And I'm thinking sometimes, you know, I'm like, what the fuck are we doing in Afghanistan? What the fuck am I doing fighting these guys? Although later I would justify it. And America, the further you are away from them, you get a little bit more safe. You get a little bit more safe. Afghanistan is so far away and so isolated that we lost there. Okay, I fought in a war that we lost in. But the closer you are to the United States, the more reach they have, overreach. That's why Mexico and that's why Central America, that's why South America is in so much danger. The Monroe Doctrine absolutely destabilized the Americas. The Monroe Doctrine was imperialism at its finest. And where I'm going with all of this is that we've destabilized so many people and we're paying for it in our own country. It's being multiplied tenfold in the United States. The hate that we throw out, the craziness that we push out, it's exacerbated in our own country. And humans, American citizens, are so radicalized now that they will never, you know, Charlie Kirk was murdered today. And he's going to cause so many people to shift to the ultra-right. This is dangerous because the ultra-right is just as bad as the ultra-left. That is what the problem in the United States is that we have two radical sides that are so far apart from each other that when they try to meet in the middle, they come with such a force that they absolutely push the other side away. Thank you for your service, Rose. Thank you so much for anybody who is understanding what I'm trying to say. And I'm sorry if I'm just blabbing out randomness. I don't want to sound like a lunatic. Oh, I know about the heroin in Afghanistan. I was there burning poppy fields. But yes, poor children, his wife, it's unbelievable. I mean, if you read the what happened, they were at the event. They were at this event. This is a tragedy of the highest order. This is a tragedy of the highest order. A man was murdered for speaking in a country that's supposed to have freedom of speech, but has been so radicalized that the citizens themselves take it upon themselves to delete that right. The citizens of the United States, both radical sides, have stolen so many freedom from the people. And I'm sorry, but I'm blabbing on. I was born and grew up in the United States, but I have a Mexican passport. But I want to move to Belarus. It's so peaceful in Belarus. Yes, I agree. There is thank you, by the way, so much for the donation. I appreciate it. With the sun coming, with my son being born soon, you know that I really appreciate you so much for this. Listen, Taped, my best advice for you is, if you have a Mexican passport, if you have a dream of going anywhere, just do it as soon as possible. I'm 35 years old. That's half a life already. I don't know how old you are. Perhaps you're older, perhaps you're younger. I'm 35, and this life is not long at all. And if times are going to get harder, then you're going to have to move faster. If you want to do something, just go. There's many of people who can help you. I didn't come to Russia to leave. I came here as a tourist and I stayed. I am not here in Russia because I hate America. I love my country, and my heart is broken for, because this type of stuff is not what's supposed to be happening. I'm not a person who I don't have I don't have hate, right? I don't have hate. I understand that people disagree with me. That's why uh, when I read the comments, I'm not afraid to say, okay, I agree with you, or if I don't agree, I'll say why I don't agree. That's how it should be. I'm born in 1989. I still have my wits about me. I have bearing, I have tact, and I have common sense. So if you disagree with me, I'll read your comments. So I disagree. The whole left wing and right wing talk is nonsense. Nonsense. Both parties are two feathers on opposite sides. Okay, you are right. Both parties are working for the same system, but the people who they brainwash are definitely not. I am talking about the people who are brainwashed, the radicalized left and right. These are not government wings. The people themselves are not a direct. They're out of control, man. So you can agree. I mean, I can agree with you. Both parties are working for the same system, but the people they brainwash are out of control. The people they brainwash don't know that they're working for either side. The people they brainwashed are doing things on their own accord, okay? So if you can agree with me on that, then you'll make a little bit more sense, because the party is much different than the people. The party don't even represent the people anymore. I mean, you can say that. Everybody knows that. That's such a cliche. The world's a stage. Enjoy the show. When you say that, it almost feels like you're just in that play, right? I myself, I don't like to view the world that way. I just don't like it. I just don't like it. I'm sorry, but I just don't like to say, uh, you still think there's two sides. I just agreed with you that there's one side, okay? But I mean, I'm not going to go into explain. I don't think you have the intelligence to understand what I was trying to say. But I understood what you said, by the way. I just don't think you have the intelligence to understand what I said. Oh, Yana, hello. Hi, Dan. You see it even in the way people drive on the roads, and how now with marijuana being allowed, so many high out of control people on the roads, aggressive. Yeah, everything that's happening in the United States is just spiraling even worse. Thank you so much for being here, by the way. No, I'm not trying to insult you. Bye. I mean, I agreed with you, but then I tried to explain something and you reverted to something I didn't say, and you insulted my intelligence by saying something else. So when I said something like you said, you were insulted. I don't know what deflecting means, and I'm being honest, but you told me that you still think there's two sides, and then you said LOL. So you assumed that I thought there was two sides, and your argument is lost there, right? So you don't have the intelligence to understand what I said. Amen. Thank you so much, Michael. Thank you. We can't wait for my son to be born. It's September 11th here in the United States. It's September 11th in Siberia, and he should be here in October, early October. So we're going to continue with this. Let's see. I will always see it as one side with one goal. Yes. Of course, I live in Siberia. Yeah, so I agree. These are the same side. The all governments are one team. But what people don't understand is that when you influence human beings, that becomes two sides. You can't get an extreme leftist and an extreme right person to agree on one thing. That's what people don't understand. That the people like that guy that I had to take off, he doesn't understand that the people who are radicalized, they don't belong to the government. Radical people will act selfishly. And if you don't agree with that, then Kirk wouldn't be dead. Okay? That's the reality. The reality is that when government is working its magic on people, it doesn't know the outcome of what's going to happen. Okay? Both political parties are working for the same goal in the United States, but the people don't know what they're a product of. And October 12th is your birthday. Nice. People are being heavily radicalized when it comes to race. Oh gosh, race is even one of the easiest ways to radicalize people is race. And I mean, if you look at me, if I would go back to Los Angeles, and I told this on my chat, I said in the 1990s, I couldn't walk in certain streets in Los Angeles after 10 because my life would guaranteed to be lost because I'm not of a certain color. I grew up in Los Angeles when it was worse. It was very segregated. I wasn't allowed to walk in certain streets. I think America is not going to end up in a civil war. It's just going to fall. America will not have a civil war because we're going to be so blind to know when we should start the civil war. By the time we fight each other, it's not going to be America. We already can't say that America is the United States of America. So when we speak literally, this is the reality. Hi, I'm from Bakersfield, and it was the same. SideQuest Hero knows the truth. I'm from the United States in California, and in the 1990s, I couldn't go down black streets. I couldn't go down white streets. Okay, there's segregation to the maximum in the California in the 1990s. I was in Northern California, and I was at a store, and a storekeeper told me that they didn't sell to my kind, referring to Mexicans. So I remember America in the 1990s being much different than many people. Same as Great Britain, yes. Many places are absolutely rotten already. A lot of people can say, "Oh, it's in decay, it's falling." We've been already free falling for so long. Do you think the US will be as bad as Britain? No, it won't. So the reason why the United States won't be as bad as England is because England has been probably colonized by other people for maybe I would say maybe 40 years. Maybe 40 years. So the reason why I'm saying it's not going to get as bad as England is because England is very small. The United States has states where some people don't want to live. Let's be honest. And those states are holding strong. And yes, I am Mexican American. And I have citizenship to both countries. I was born in the United States, but my mom is Mexican and my father is Mexican. I am considered non-white. Obviously, look at me. Look at this. I have a beard and I'm brown, I think. I don't know what color you guys think I am, but De hecho, si quieren que hable español y me entienden, puedo hacer esto en solo español. Pero la verdad es que cuando estaba creciendo en California había mucho racismo de negros, mucho racismo de gente blanca y dentro de la gente mexicana también. So there was a lot of racism even amongst Mexican people because I was considered a wetback even though I was born in the United States. The Mexican Americans would harass me because I spoke more Spanish than them. So Mexican Americans probably one of the most racist people. What kind of Russian is that? So if you guys have any questions, I'm gonna be on here for about 30 or 40 more minutes. I'm really heartbroken about the news. Really, Kirk didn't deserve to be unalived. He was murdered for having an opinion that radicals did not agree with. How would a civil war be fought in today's world? So today's world would be fought not it would be the classic, guys. It's always economical, like it's economics. The civil war is when there's too many poor people and they're tired of it because people, as long as you feed them and they have enough food and games, they are okay and content. But as soon as you have too many poor people, hungry people, that's when the civil war is fought. And it's always going to be fought poor against rich. It's always been that. This is my opinion, of course, and I only say this because I love history. And in history, people fight when they're hungry. Historically, there's been invasions for hunger. There's been invasions for growth. Revolutions for hunger and growth for self preservation. Okay, I didn't mean wars don't start, right? Invasions don't start for this type of stuff. I meant revolutions. So I'm correcting myself. The people will not fight as long as they have enough food and games to entertain them. I'm definitely white. Okay, thanks, I guess. If you would have said I'm brown or black, I would have said thanks too. Down, you think that the government sponsored preferential... The shot is said to have been over 300 meters away. You actually have to be trained for that shot. That was a center mass shot. If you guys don't know what happened, and I'm not going to show the video, but Kirk was wearing a sappy plate. He was wearing a bulletproof vest. The shot hit somewhere here, and it bounced off. The ricochet from the shot hit his probably shattered the artery on the neck. And the artery, the blood that, I mean, it's graphic. You can find it. It's everywhere right now. But the shot was on the bulletproof vest and it ricochets here. Okay? What's the obsession with skin tone? I don't know. I learned this when I got to the United States. So it is what it is. I'm a Canadian myself. Do you think Canada has a chance? So no, Canada doesn't have a chance. I mentioned earlier that the closer you are to the United States, the more reach the United States has. The Canadians will be sucked into whatever the United States does automatically. You guys have been in every war that we've been in. I've fought alongside Canadians in the Afghanistan war. When I asked them, what the fuck are you guys doing here? They had no clue. I had no clue why I was in Afghanistan. So that should answer your question. Canada has no chance because it's so close to the United States. I'm sorry, and that's probably pretty negative. Abre tu canal en español para que ayudes a educar a la gente que no sabe nada de Rusia. I guess I could make some videos in Spanish. Haré unos videos en español en el futuro, no te preocupes. I'm going to bed, but I hope you do more of these. Hey, thank you so much, Rose. Thank you for the support. I appreciate you. Please, guys, make sure to put like so that more people can join the conversation. Right now, I'm willing to read your comments. Right now, I'm willing to accept when I'm wrong because I'm on live. And it's very hard to to communicate with you guys any other way. It's all about oil. It's not all about oil all the time because Afghanistan doesn't really have oil, but it does have a lot of minerals and it does have a banking system that was not under our control. So it's not always about oil. But I agree with you. A lot of things has to do with oil. Jesus loves me. Jesus loves you too, Madeline. Did Russia attack Poland the other day? I mean, this is what I don't understand. And if you guys want to talk about that really quickly, I don't believe that Russia attacked Poland for two main reasons. One of the main reasons is right now Russia has a huge front against Ukraine. It cannot defeat Ukraine anytime soon. They've been in a war for almost 4 years. Russia is not dumb enough to start a war in another front. Reason number two why I don't think that Russia did it, because the West has a lot of history making false flags, and that's it. Russia can't end the war yet with Ukraine on an unconditional surrender, and the West has proven that they do a lot of false flags. That's it. That's simple. I'm from Canada, and it's true. It's a damn shame. Hey, I'm sorry. I was being straight up with you, but if you are, I have something on the bright side for Canadians. Canadians are much more willing to fight for their freedom than Americans. And that's one thing that you guys have that's a plus, Devin, is the fact that when hard times come, Canadians stand up faster than Americans. Americans are so busy fighting themselves. And Canada has less of that because you guys have only two major hubs. In America, we have 50 states, and the majority of them have big cities where we fight each other. But you guys are blessed by geography, and the majority of you guys are only in two places, right? And the rest are sporadically in the middle of the country. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the majority of you guys live on the east side under the 50th parallel. Thanks for the donation, my friend. Taped says, to line up the stream, do you eat black beans or brown beans? I eat brown beans. I eat brown beans, but I eat black beans sometimes too. So in the southern part of Mexico, they also make black beans. Do you eat with a fork or a tortilla? I eat with my hands. If I'm gonna eat beans, I'm gonna eat with my hands. Well, the thing is, Bert, I've lived. I use pinto beans or frijoles peruanos. Peruvian beans are also very nice. The reason why I think I have so many things in the chamber is because I never used to speak, right? Before I started this channel, I never spoke I never spoke my mind. I never gave my opinion. I was in the United States Marines. I took orders, and I was also a corporal, and I had 4 men under my command. Those 4 people were the only people in my entire lifetime up until then that I ever gave my opinion to. I took people's opinions from the top, from many men and many women. Many men and women told me what to do for a long time, and I only commanded 4 people in war, a humble fire team. But those men's lives were in my hands, and I learned that if I was going to speak in the war, I learned this. If I was going to speak, I must speak with confidence, and I must speak with patience, and I must speak with knowing that what I say, there's repercussions for that. So in the war, I learned I must learn that if I say something, it should have a meaning, right? This is how I can remember what I was in my head. I remember this in the war. Do I still have PTSD? I think right now I'm going through a PTSD episode because a lot of my life I learned, I became who I was in the war. So when I think about things in my life, I usually go back to the war very often in my mind, and I think that's PTSD. We gotta get back to work. Hey man, thank you so much for joining us. For all the people who are joining us right now, I know it's late in some places. Thank you so much for just hearing me out. I did this live because I wanted to speak my opinion in something that breaks my heart as an American citizen who I've been out of the United States for almost 4 years. Every year it's getting worse. The news, every time I wake up, are worse. The news is devastating. Oh, Devin, thanks again for the donation, man. You are correct with the location of the population. It's not all supper and spice though. I live in Alberta. Yes. And I agree. I agree what you say. It's not all it's not all blue skies and sunshine. What I was trying to say is though is that Canada and Canadians are further away from the United States because the people of the United States are probably the lab rats who are suffering the most, and then it's the Canadians. And it's so sad to say that after us, you're next, right? But I don't know. It's the truth. But if you ever want to come and visit me, I'm living here in Irkutsk Oblast next to Lake Baikal. I've had more than 20 subscribers visit me here in Russia, and I've fed my subscribers. I've helped them with the housing. I've offered so much tranquility here. Russia, I'm not saying is the answer, but what I am saying is the answer is leaving at least a vacation from the hellhole that we are in. If my life here in Russia becomes a hellhole, I'll leave and I'll at least take a vacation, which is how I left the United States in the first place. I left on vacation and I never came back. Colton, thanks for the donation from Newfoundland. Um, I wish I could do more, but speaking is not enough. In my opinion, I'm not doing enough. Speaking is not enough, but speaking with common sense, right? I think that speaking with common sense is enough because I can only do that. That's all I can do. You can say something to me and I can give you my honest opinion and I can rationalize using common sense. So if anybody has any questions, go ahead and ask. Where are you at? I'm in Irkutsk Oblast, Russia. I'm in central Siberia. If you look at the map, there's a huge lake. That's where I live. I live in the southern tip of that lake. I live next to the largest reservoir of water, fresh water, the largest lake in the world in volume. I live in Sludanka. And a lot of people say, hey, aren't you scared of something happening to you? I am scared. But the reason why I have to say where I am is because I'm proud to say that I am living here now and my life has become so different. I make content showing you how I live here, okay? And I'm so proud of that. Is there work in Russia? It's very hard to find work as a foreigner. I actually just made a video about this, but there is a bright side. There is a bright side to this because if you come educated to Russia, I think that you are going to have a better trajectory in life. The cost of living here is lower, although the money you will earn is lower in Russia, but the cost of living is significantly lower than wherever you're watching from. That's why I think Russia is a better answer for people who want to just move somewhere. Listen, so many people move from anywhere in the world to the United States. So many people move to Mexico. So many people move to Canada, to England. And all of these places have problems. So Russia has problems too. Yet when people say, oh, why don't you move to Russia? People say it's propaganda. It's horrible. Doug says another tragic example of a failed society. I agree with you. It's a tragic example of what happens when you let the nuts run the nut house. Fear, not farm. There's no problem. Nothing changes. The money goes into your bank account. That's it. Nothing changes. How do you and your wife get along? Hope you have 2 kids. So first of all, my wife and we get along well because I think that she fits her role perfectly. My wife is born in the Soviet Union. My wife is 35 years old. My wife is a woman who understands the hardships of life. So you know that hard times make strong people. My wife and we come from almost the same background. So when when I met her, I had already been in Russia and I met her and I started dating her. I realized, hey, you know what? This woman here, she seems like a squared away person. I'm going to try to make a life with her. So I stayed in Russia and we're having our first child in October next month. In less than a month, I hopefully, because my son, he needs to come out. He got to get to work already. I don't think that all governments are bad. It can't be. It can't be. It can, there's no way that all governments are bad, but there is a possibility that all societies are now rotten. That's what I think. I think that some governments actually want to preserve their country and the well-being of their people. I think that's I mean Russia's leader right now, I can tell you I think Russia's leader right now cares about Russian people, cares about preserving the Russian as a country, and it cares to preserve its history and its culture and many cultures that exist in Russia. I can say that because that's what I think. And I've seen it. Can you comment on communism? I think communism is not a good way of governing large countries. That's my opinion. Aren't you originally from Mexico? No, I am not originally from Mexico. I'm originally from the United States. I'm from Los Angeles. But my mother is Mexican. My father is Mexican. So I guess I was surrounded by Mexican culture. What do you think about the Indian government? I think the Indian government should absolutely separate itself from any global power that wants to control it. India has a massive population. It has a booming a young group. How would you say that? A young population group. So India can decide what it wants without being influenced by any major power. So I think India has a bright future if it wants to. If it wants a bright future, it has to be independent from influence from other countries. What do I think about the South Korean government? I don't have any opinion on the South Korean government. I don't know enough to give my opinion on that. How was learning Russian? I'm still trying to learn. When my son is here, I'm going to be learning a lot more, I think, because I'm going to be forced to speak with him only in Russian for a long time. What is your opinion on the Russian war in Ukraine? I've given many military analysis. The videos were deleted by YouTube on the Real Reporter channel. I think Russia has entered a new phase in the conflict. I think I should do a military analysis again in the future. Do you think America will survive a societal collapse the same way Russia did in the 1990s? No. America, the problem with Young one, I don't see your question. Do you support Charlie and his ideology? No, so I don't support anything he says. I'll get back to the question. Let me just answer his question first. Sorry. I don't support anything that Charlie says. Nothing. Because I don't know him personally. I don't even know most of his talking points. So you just mentioned some of his things that you are saying that he hated or didn't like certain groups. I don't know that about him. And if that was true, I wouldn't support it. If it's not true, then maybe you're in the wrong for saying that. But I don't support anything that he said that he says about particular things. What I do support is his right to have the freedom of speech. I don't know the guy. I just don't agree with shooting people that don't have the same opinion as you. That's why we're in this live in the first place. Someone was murdered for having an opinion in the United States where there's supposed to be freedom of speech. There's supposed to be a sense of safety in the United States to say things that you believe. I don't agree with people I don't know, by the way. That's why when people give me like what do you think about this, like presidents, like what do you think about Donald Trump, what do you think about President Putin, he said this, I don't know. I've never spoken to President Putin. I've been living in Russia and I've seen how Russia has grown as a country, and I can give my opinion on that. But like particular people, I don't know. No, man. I'm not using his name for views. This is a topic that everybody should be talking about. Everybody in the United States should be talking. Every United States citizen should be talking about and saying rest in peace to Kirk for losing his life, for voicing whatever he wanted in the United States. If it's getting views, it means that people care about this. It means that people like you who think that it's just for the views and for these other things, you're thinking about it the wrong way. We should all, every American citizen and everybody who lives in a country that the United States influences should be scared that the United States is rotten because their countries are next. Every country who's associated with the United States should be scared. Every citizen who is from a country that the United States has any ties with should be scared, because what happens in the United States is only 10 years away from happening in your country if it's not already happening. So we're not doing this for views. We're doing this because every American citizen and every citizen of a country whose ties with the United States are close should be worried that someone in the United States today could be shot dead for saying something that they believe in. That's what happened. Of course, Charlie's name is going to trend today, but what's even worse is that people will not admit that this is the right thing to do. Is Russia a third world country? Russia is not a third world country, but in some places it can look like it. I think this is what I think. There was a famous Mexican man who said, "El respeto al derecho ajeno es la paz." Okay? El respeto al derecho ajeno es la paz. This was Benito Juarez. He was a president of Mexico. He was an indigenous president of an American country, the first indigenous man to lead a country in the Americas. He said that respecting the rights of others is peace. El respeto al derecho ajeno es la paz. The respect, I can't even translate this, but respecting other people's rights, other people's freedom, other people's anything, this is the peace. And the people in the United States cannot come to grip with this. Americans cannot accept that other people have the right to exist as well. We're so radicalized, like I said in the beginning of this live. The radicalization of American society has been the downfall of America, because we've been projecting to the world, we've been saying to the world, you guys are out of control, you guys are the worst, you guys are the worst. Oh, we need to go and liberate you guys. We need to give you guys a dose of freedom. And what happens in the United States? We're worse off now. Hard Deep says, hello, I'm coming to Russia this month. I'm a Punjabi Canadian citizen. Hello, my friend. Well, I hope you enjoy your time in Russia. If you're anywhere near, I invite you to see the Lake Baikal. I can't watch you anywhere. Go watch your channel. Okay, goodbye. Nobody needs... Listen, I'm not doing this to try to make people like me. I'm doing this because if you're not voicing how sad and tragic it is to see the spiral go faster right now, today is a horrible day. Today is a horrible day. At least we can come together and agree on that. The man didn't deserve to lose his life. The man didn't deserve to see, the man didn't deserve to have his wife and his kids see him lose his life for speaking. Okay? I suck at learning other languages. Hey, other languages are very hard to learn, especially when they're not in the same family group as yours. If you speak English, I think German will be an easy language to learn, because German is the father language, essentially, of the English language. You can be prosecuted for sharing your opinion in Russia if your opinion falls within the lines of laws. So, like in the United States, it's illegal to let me see, defamation. So, so defamation is illegal in the United States, right? So we have laws. Freedom of speech has laws. Of course, you can use your freedom of speech, but you can't threaten people in the United States. You also cannot say lies that will ruin somebody's life. These are laws where freedom of speech is limited, and they're common sense laws. Russia has the same. In Russia, I can say I don't like Vladimir Putin. Vladimir Putin is not a good president. I don't agree with things that he does. I can say that, and I'm saying that right now. What I can say is make lies about him, threaten him. So it's the same thing. Russia operates on the same wavelength as the United States. Obviously, Russia has different clauses because Russia doesn't have to follow the United States laws. Every country is different, guys. Americans have a hard time understanding that other countries have different cultures. So every country is going to have different laws when it comes to freedom of speech. In England, you can't say anything in England. If I was in England and I was doing this stream, I would probably be jailed. I've said enough things to put me in jail. Are you Mexican? Well, yes, I'm a Mexican citizen, but not by birth. I was born in the United States. It's not a problem. I think if you guys have any questions about Russia, my channel, I make long form content. I dedicate my time to videotaping myself doing things inside of Russia, and I show how things are done in Russia and what things I do in Russia. So this channel is based off of that. If you're watching my channel right now, what you're watching is me, the owner of this channel, expressing my feelings for something that I believe was wrong. So I'm an American living in Russia. I woke up this morning and I saw the news of an American killed for speaking. I'm giving you guys my honest opinion on this, and it's a tragic day. I recently did a live from an Orthodox church. And yes, I have a Mexican passport. I love my green passport. But I don't go to church here. My faith is, I mean, I don't go to church, but I have my own faith that I hopefully people respect here because I'm not Orthodox. I think in the future, Russia will be one of the only places on earth away from this madness. I think Russia's far enough away from the United States so that the madness doesn't really reach it that badly. Are you seriously using Russia as an example of free speech? I mean, Shadow, can you give us a reason why England has free speech? And tell me, does America have free speech? A man was murdered today for practicing his free speech. So, Shadow, if you're trolling me, you're going to get kicked. But give us an example or get kicked. I was sitting at my table and saw the news and then close up video of the shot, the neck. Yeah. Yeah, it's a horrible day. It's a horrible day. If you're American, if you're a citizen, again, I'm going to repeat what I said because today is a tragic day. If you're an American citizen or if you're a citizen of a country that has ties to the United States, today is going to be a day of tragedy because today the spiral goes faster. Young one, it doesn't matter what, I mean, I have to ask you, young one, you're very close to getting kicked because I think you're continuing this madness. I think you're provoking madness, young one. Nobody's justifying any of it. Can you understand that nobody should be killed for having an opinion? Yes or no? I'm wondering because this live is not supporting him. Okay, okay. All right. I'll accept it, but again, try to get away from what he was saying. Let's move away from what his ideologies were. He wasn't inciting hate and violence against people. He might not support people. Hell, if it's true that he didn't like illegal immigrants, I'll tell you one thing I disliked about him. No, I'm not going to be serving in the Russian military because I'm not a Russian citizen, and Russian non-Russian citizens are not allowed to serve. I'm going to tell you one thing I didn't like about him. I saw one of his videos where he said that people with double citizenships should not be allowed to work in government in the United States. And that's one thing that I thought was lunacy, because a child, my son who was born in Russia, will be a United States citizen as well. If he wants to be anything in the world, he shouldn't be limited by the citizenships of his parents. Okay? And that's one thing I didn't agree with him. I can say that, but I don't think that he should be killed for it. That's what I believe is what makes America absolutely vile. Okay? I would never say that man should not live anymore because his opinion doesn't line up with mine. That's crazy. It's crazy, guys. Now I'm going to calm down a little bit and tell you guys that you need to, if you're in the United States especially, you need to hold your loved ones close. Really, really, really. I'm so thankful that my son is not born yet, because being born in this world right now is chaotic. Unfortunately, we're in a timeline where the governments are doing this to us. But this is such a freaking horrible timeline, man. On the topic of immigration, what are your thoughts on dreamers? If you're talking about the dreamers who had a visas of some sort in the United States, listen, I agree with legal immigration. My I agree with legal immigration, but if you're already in a country illegally, I believe that you should assimilate. If you're not going to assimilate, why are you even in another country? That's all I believe. If I accept illegal immigration, there's nothing you can do. If nobody's ever going to find you and you're going to be illegally in a country, at least have the modesty to assimilate and be a good person. That's all. That's all. I don't care about your migration status. At the end of the day, if you come legally or illegally, assimilate. Be a good person. That's all I care. It's crazy. It's madness. He says you'll be safe where you are, Dan. You'll have a great life for your family. I hope I'm going to try my best. America would never survive what Russia went through in the 90s because America is way too divided. When the Soviet Union fell, the people who were left agreed that they needed to survive what they were going through. America is so far divided that they'll be tribal. America will be divided. America would never survive that. Dan, how do you make a living in Russia? Well, I have a business. I have a small business in Mexico. I also have savings. Society is slowly turning on itself, and it's worrying to think about. Yes, I think we're far gone from that part. We've turned on each other a long time ago. We're somewhere in the middle of the end game. Do you guys have any direct questions for me? We've been on here for a while. I will try to answer as many questions as I can. Thank you, Fabio. I appreciate your kindness. And by the way, if you don't have a question but you do have a comment, I also appreciate it. Fabio, I appreciate your kindness. I really believe when people are nice to me, it makes me feel good because the position that I'm in, I get only hate usually because I'm an American veteran who lives in Russia. I expect people to call me a traitor. I expect people to tell me that I'm some sort of agent. I expect people to be very rude to me. So when I see people who say nice things, it's a nice to see. And it makes me feel good like anybody else, right? I want to be humble about it and tell you the truth. Nova says, you're speaking facts, man. Keep preaching. Don't let anyone put you down. Thank you so much for the positivity. Heart Deep says that he feels the same when I read news about Canada and the United States when abroad. Yeah, it's a horrible thing to when you're out of the country that you're from originally and you see news like these. This is a very sad thing. I told you guys in the beginning that since I left the United States, every year the news have gotten worse. I left in 2022. Then it became political, the race for the presidency. There was a Biden era. Then there was another presidency war against Kamala Harris and President Trump, the assassinations attempts. Now these type of things, it just gets dirtier and dirtier, guys. It's crazy. It's crazy. If you look at the timeline, it never relaxes anymore. Hey, Michael, thank you, my friend. And when you come to Russia, I told you you can come see me. I will be here for you, my subscribers. Again, I make long form content. If you're subscribed already, go look at that stuff. But really, Aaron, Greg, Greg, Aaron Greg, but in German, Greg. I would read that Greg, Greek. In German, would pronounce the second letter, I believe. Anyways, you're a good fella. I like what you're doing. Yeah, America is looking bad. Also, Britain. You're in New Zealand, my friend. My best friend in Irkutsk, where I live, is actually New Zealand. From New Zealand. Shout out to New Zealand. Stay safe out there, man. How is it living in Russia? Well, my friend, I make videos from it, but I'll tell you one thing. Living in Russia is, as a foreigner who's not a citizen or even a resident, because I'm still here on a tourist visa, even though I'm married to a Russian and my son is Russian, it's pretty hard. It's like playing a game on expert level. Do you think that American gun laws should be stricter? There's no way to make gun laws stricter in America. I was watching your video about apartments. Do you own an apartment permanently for the price? Actually, John, I'm gonna give you guys, because John, channel member, asked the question about apartments. Today, my wife and I have saved up enough money and we have been working on buying an apartment. The deal should be closed today. We should be handed over our keys. Today is a sad day, but today is also the day that, if everything goes right, I would have bought an apartment for my unborn child, and we have land, and whatever happens to me, the future of my son is secure. He'll have a place to live. So thank you for asking about that. I'll give you guys an update on that. It's not news that I wanted to share. I was gonna make a video on it, but because today my wife will wake up and we'll go buy an apartment, and I will give you guys a breakdown of how much it cost. This is the greatest day of my life because I'm a married man. I got married with a woman who is strong. My wife is pregnant. My wife will give birth to our son in next month. We have a land, a dacha, and today we should have an apartment. And as a man, all you can wish for me, my goal was to provide. So thank you for asking that question. There's so many things going on. And so many things, man. Yes, the most important thing, rest in peace, Charlie Kirk, because that is why we started this. And his life is going to influence a series of events that we're not even ready for. Apartments in Irkutsk can cost, well, mine is in Irkutsk Oblast, it cost under $40,000. Sos más grande que Star Trek. I'm not sure what happened, man. I'm not sure what happened. But somebody asked about the gun laws in the United States. It seems like even if it was illegal to sell guns in the United States, there's already so many guns in the streets that the bad guys would only have guns and the government would only have guns, and that's the reason why we have the Second Amendment, to save the people from the bad guys and the government. So I don't know what's happening, guys. But what's going to happen next, it's going to be a series of events that people on both sides are not going to like. Things are going to be more extreme than ever. When things like these happen, the pendulum swings towards the other side so crazy that it's going to spiral even further out of control. In Newfoundland, you could buy a trailer for $40,000. Oh no. I wouldn't, here we live in cuartiras. In Irkutsk City are very expensive. You can find one from $50,000 to $60,000, but these are very good location apartments. If you're a new subscriber to the channel, welcome. My name is Dan Castle. I'm an American veteran who was originally from the United States in California. I came to Russia in 2022. I moved not because I didn't like my country, not because I was scared or because I was against anything. I was coming to Russia for tourism. I enjoyed it and I stayed. Today, it's September 11th in Siberian Russia, but in September 10th, Charlie Kirk was murdered for speaking his mind. This is wrong and shouldn't be happening in the United States, but it's a product of radicalized societies. It's a product of two political parties that have brainwashed two groups of people that have always hated each other and will always hate each other, and it's a disaster. There was also a shooting in Colorado. Rest in peace to the people who lost their lives there. It is just becoming so frequent that it's a disaster. Hi Dan, did I serve in Iraq? No, I served in the Marines in Afghanistan. I'm an Afghanistan war veteran. In the desperation and panic, the chaos is what the power wants. Exactly. So in Russia, people live in apartments like this, okay? We live in apartments. I have my clothes drying there. And it's in square meters. You can get anything from 50 square meters to 60 square meters. It all depends on how big you want it. It's tragic. Yes, the woman who was killed for being white, she was murdered for being white in North Carolina. My apartment has 2 rooms. But I bought a piece of land, a quarter of an acre, for $10,000 last year. And by the way, she was Ukrainian. Now, we have a lot of Ukrainians in Russia. One of my best friends in Russia is Ukrainian. Ukrainians live amongst Russians in Russia. This Ukrainian went to the United States fleeing a war. I believe had she moved anywhere else in the world, she probably would have been alive. She could have gone anywhere else in the world and she probably would have been alive. The United States is the roll of the dice at this point. That's why my daughter dyed her hair black, because of the prejudice at school. I believe it. My friend served in Afghanistan. He gets free booze at the Legions. I don't know, man. I don't really drink like that. I wouldn't know. If she was in Russia, she would be alive 100%. No, I don't live in an older Soviet bloc. Incorrect. The old man they arrested was a plant. Yeah, that guy did not shoot. In fact, yeah, I'll break this down in the future maybe. Hello, Erickson. Willkommen. If you're a subscriber, please do understand that this is not the regular content. I make long form videos. Today is a sad day. I'm an American citizen, so I came here to share my frustration and share that I don't agree with what the United States society has become. People should not be killed, okay? I mean, Charlie Kirk should be alive right now, and nobody should be killed for saying what they think. Stephen Bills is from Los Angeles. Hello and welcome, man. It's crazy to see people watching me from LA. I'm from LA. Well, I mean, I'm from San Fernando Valley, but we belong to Los Angeles County. And I always represent Los Angeles wherever I go because it's just easier to tell people I'm from LA. But yeah, it's crazy to know that people from anywhere near Los Angeles watch this. I understand, and it's very hard to process because it's not normal. Because, by the way, on the same day there was a shooting in Colorado. It's a roll of the dice to know what's going to happen to you. You can be in the wrong mall, you can be in the wrong school, you can say the wrong thing in the United States now. And if one person is killed for this, it's too much. It doesn't make sense. It's dark times in America. It's probably, I think it's probably the darkest times America's ever been through. There couldn't have been a worse time. And I know that you guys will say, oh, the slavery and all of this. Yeah, but in your lifetime, buddies, in your lifetimes, when I'm talking about, I've already said it like 3 times, I'm talking about the people who are alive today. This is the worst time to be alive in US history if you're alive right now. I've been to Canada for a few minutes. I crossed the border, but I think I crossed the border, but I didn't do it on purpose. I was working in the oil fields in North Dakota. This is an interesting story, and it'll be off topic. I was roustaboutting in North Dakota, and I was in really North Dakota in the north for some time, and my buddy was driving, and he just said we were crossed into Canada. I believed it. I don't know if it's true or not, but we came right back. It was a huge tree line. It was a huge tree line, and then we crossed where there was no trees, and then we turned around. He said it was Canada. I believed it. So to this day, I say that I crossed into Canada without knowing. Hello, Dan, watching from Davao, Philippines. Sana all. Is sana all something good, Fernie? I had a friend that would always say sana all, sana all. It was like in video games, though. Anyways, I love the Philippines. Filipinos are genetically tied to Mexicans like myself. Filipinos were also colonized by Spain, and we share a similar ancestry and a similar distaste for imperialism. So shout out to the Philippines. I love you guys. Yeah, there was a tree line, and there was a clearance on the tree line, and that was it. Hello from Krasnoyarsk, Sibir. Awesome. Hey, my friend is visiting today from Krasnoyarsk. Really cool. God bless you, Dan, and your family. Thank you so much. From the Philippines, another person. I love you. I really love the Philippines. I love the Filipino people. In the war, when this shoulder was ripped out in Afghanistan, it was actually a Filipino. I'll give you a quick story here. One second. Let me give you this quick story. So, in Afghanistan, this shoulder was ripped out, torn out, and I had it tied, and my sergeant put it back. Uh, and after an operation, it was like 2 weeks in the wrong spot, and we went back to the rear because I was a frontline Marine. Uh, this Filipino guy, small little Filipino corpsman, he's like, "No, this is wrong. This is wrong. It's not supposed to look like this." My shoulder was so bad. He ripped it out and then put it back in. And I'll never forget, it was the Filipino corpsman. Shout out to him. And another Filipino that I served with, De La Rosa. That was his last name. Hello from South Dakota. Hello, my friend. Yeah. From what people tell me, especially my mother, who grew up in the 70s, she said that the 70s were pretty crazy in the United States. Again, right now I think we're in the worst part of the timeline. My wife is awake. I need to see if she's okay. One second, I need to check on my wife. Sushi, nothing from the bank yet? Are you okay? Okay. Okay. Shout out to the Philippines. Yeah. Man, thank you so much for the donation again. The reason why I think we're in the worst part of the American history is because we all there's two sides that hate each other and they don't even know that they're being used. Okay, back in the past in the United States, when people had opinions, they had more common sense. But now it's worse because people hate each other without knowing why. It's like it's it's like in the dark if you get slapped and then you start hating the guy next to you for no reason. It makes more sense to be slapped in broad daylight. And let me just give you my opinion, okay? Why I think what I'm saying is true. If I was standing in front of you and I slapped you, I would agree for you to be mad at me. If the lights were off and someone else slapped you and you were mad at me, this is delusion. This is why America is at its worst state, because people who hate each other, two sides, have no idea why they hate each other by now. We are so far detached from reality. In the past, Americans had more common sense. Americans would be in dialogue. You can look at the videos from the 1960s and 70s when people voiced their opinions and you hear what they have to say. It was based off of more common sense. That's all I'm saying. Does Russia have public health care? Yes, they do. And actually, yesterday, I may have semi saved the life of someone. I was at the right place at the right time. There was a woman on the fourth floor who had a daughter who had an epilepsy attack. And I essentially grabbed the. Here, I'll show you a video actually. No, I'll make a video about it later. But they have healthcare. It's not so good in small towns though. I can attest to this. The ambulance was willing to let this woman who was dying from an epilepsy attack, because if you let them too long, their brains and their hearts could fry. They were not willing to put her on the. Wait 1 second. So yeah, the ambulance came and they said that the girl was too heavy and they weren't gonna put her on the stretcher. So the mom was running around the town and she found me, so I ran up there and the ambulance gave me the fucking stretcher and I put her on the stretcher and I was the one who led them down the stairs. So they took them it took them a long time to find someone that was willing to help because they said that she was too heavy. Bottom line is the further you are away from a city, the more dangerous the healthcare in Russia is. But that's the truth. If you live in a small town anywhere, it could be pretty bad. But because this is Russia, I don't think they had the right training. I am willing to share this video and tell people and advise people to, if you're going to move to Russia, move to somewhere closer to bigger cities because smaller cities are not with good healthcare. It sounds like anywhere, yeah. Tell me if you guys can see this. My screen is very dirty, but let me know if you can see this. I'm going to give you guys a quick breakdown here. This is the mother, and I had to put this woman on the stretcher. I did this. This ambulance man had a partner. That ambulance man had a partner, but he made the mother do the work. That man forced the mother of this young woman hold her daughter who was sick. This is the man who put this young girl in danger. He gave me the stretcher. I put her on that stretcher. And I'm not trying to say it to get any respect, but the problem with Russia in small towns is that men like this will not do the work. And I yelled at them after because this woman is the mother. Now I'm going to show you something else. Here it is, another part of the video. This freaking animal here, I'm going to expose her in the future. This woman is the assistant. Now, okay, perhaps she's not strong enough to help, but she yelled at my wife because my wife came to tell me, help this woman. Look at this boy just standing there. This woman, her daughter was dying, and no audio. The bottom line is, we got problems in small towns. The assistant yelled at my wife, said, "Why are you here? You pregnant?" And, oh. Okay, anyways. This woman yelled at my wife saying, "You're pregnant, get away. If you help, your baby will come out and I'm going to have to help you." You can see her face. She's so mean. She never helped. It should have not been the mother having to put her daughter on the stretcher. I had to do everything for this young girl. And now I'll show you something else because they treat people like animals, really. They treat people like animals. I'll show you how I had to do something. Tell me if you notice something that I do in this video that he wasn't even thinking about because this is a young girl. You have to cover her up. She's just a young girl. Give her something, you know. Look at my face. I looked straight at that woman with disgust. No, I know what he wanted me to do. The problem is when we got upstairs, and my wife and I are going to make a video. When we got out of here, when we got up to where she was compulsing, he gave me the stretcher. He gave me the stretcher. and I rolled her over. I put her on there. So what a good question. I'm going to expose the medical system in small towns. At least for my town where I'm going to live, where my son is going to be born. I don't need this. If they need training, I will gladly train them. I have pulled men out of trenches. I have put tourniquets on men without limbs. I have helped people with gunshots. I have helped people with worse scenarios than this. I will gladly train their service people because that what I saw that day was disgusting. I'm going to expose them. And this is what I'm telling you guys. Russia is not a perfect country, and I'm not going to get arrested for exposing them. If anything, I'm probably going to be thanked by the people in this town because the people of this town have to live with these people who are not professional. And I'm not scared to make this kind of video because the help that I've given this town, I think by the time I die, they will appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, anybody, if you guys are in any, if you guys have any experience in anything, you should always help communities. I live in a small town. The only thing I'm angry about in this scenario is the fact that they told us they're not going to go get her unless they have 6 people who are going to help. The girl was composing for like 10 minutes up there. By the time we went up, by the time they found me, the mom was out of control, scared. So anyways, this is going to be a video that I'm going to be producing in about 2 days. And hopefully you guys watch it. I'm going to be exposing them. I'm got all worked up because somebody asked a question about healthcare. A lot of people don't understand, man. It's not like a perfect world here. So it's obesity is common, I think, more in cities. This woman is a single mother of a sick child, and I think that's probably why she's like that. Because when you're a single mother with a daughter who's sick, you don't tend to cook so much. You tend to eat a lot worse food. That's probably why she's sick. I'm gonna go back and visit her and make sure that the girl is okay. I know where she lives. I'm gonna do a follow-up. Believe me, this is not the end. I make full videos, guys. This is rare in cities. Absolutely, man. The diaper fund. Medi, 1 second, brother. I love you. Thank you so much for the support. You know I love you, Medi. Let me show you something. These are all Pampers. Shout out to my friend Klaus. My good friend Klaus bought all these diapers for us. I love you guys. Yeah, that was really a good, nice comment, brother. Really funny. I'm going to be reporting the ambulance. I'm also going to be offering to train them. They're public health workers, by the way. They probably don't get paid enough to carry someone. So if they get the training, it'll be good. So thank you so much for the money for the diapers. We will be getting diapers, more diapers. My son is going to be born in a month. So before I go, I'm going to give you 3 solutions rather. I can give you 3 solutions. So the videos that I just showed you, I can train the people. I can also invest because I have this channel. I can ask for donations to get the appropriate stretcher so that 2 people to 3 people can bring her down. Okay? And the last one is exposing them. That's how you can help. Exposing them, because the more people that expose this, the better. I can train them, expose them to the proper training. We can buy at least 1 or 2 of the right stretchers, and you can expose them. That's how things work in this part of the world. And by the way, guys, I appreciate all of the donations. I recently made a couple videos. Please check them out. As you guys know, today's the day my wife and I are going to go buy our apartment. I'm going to be making this ambulance video and some other videos very soon. I have to cut this short. I'll probably make a full length video about how America's rotten because of this incident. Rest in peace. Uh, Rest in peace to Charlie Kirk. I'm sorry. I'm looking at here. The time is 11:55. In 5 minutes, I believe it's 12 o'clock in New York in September 11. So also my condolences to the people who died in 9/11. I'm looking at the time. Charlie was murdered on September 10th in the United States, but in 4 minutes, it's September 11th in the United States. I'm sorry also for the people who lost their life in Colorado. It's a shame that the United States is rotting like this. It's a shame that people are hating so much that they have to kill each other. It's a shame that Americans can't get their shit straight. God bless you all. I'll make a full length video. I think I have to do it. Thank you from Florida. Thank you. I love you guys. No, I'm not from Florida, but thanks to the person from Florida.